what I'm going to talk to you guys about is ways that you can actually get more results in your business and actually look at your life from a wellness perspective so that you can identify what's stopping you from moving forward. What is the relationship that you have with yourself when it comes to your business? What is stopping you from actually getting uncomfortable and starting the journey as to where you want to be? Great to be here, Davian. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be speaking to the global community. This is actually something that I've been really looking forward to. You know, after we had our conversation, I am ready to support people in any way that I can to help them see themselves when it comes down to success. And so at the end of the day, hopefully with the 60 minutes that we have together, that you guys get something out of it that you can apply to your own businesses. What I'm going to encourage everybody to do today is if you have a notepad and a pen, please have it there, because I'm going to be posing a lot of questions. Yes, Damien. Like, honestly, I'm posing a lot of questions because this is not about me. Okay, this is really about the relationship that you have with yourself. And this is what I do with my clients. Listen, I have clients from the age of 10 to 73, and we go through an unsurmountable amount of questions when it comes down to figuring out what they want when it's time to discover what's stopping you from actually moving forward. So I'm just going to go into the presentation. It's a really quick presentation we're going to go through. We're going to start with the idea of fear, how I came into the fear, and how I incorporated wellness into my life to get the results in the business that I want. Okay, so I'm just going to pull this up. So let's just skip this slide. So again, thank you guys so much for having me here. My name is Michael Challenger. I am the CEO and founder of a company called Optimal Living Summit. As Damien mentioned in the beginning of the actual presentation, I am a best-selling author of a book called Let Fear Paralyze You. I'm a certified life coach. I have a certification for the science of happiness, something that I'm really proud of, certification for reprogramming the mind that I work with several clients with individuals and companies. I'm an award-winning filmmaker that's in my wheelhouse in my past, award-winning event producer, and I've worked with over 100 businesses in terms of giving them the results that they've wanted, and I'm really happy to have a good relationship with all of them. So thank you again for having me, and let's get started. So as I mentioned, Don't Let Fear Paralyze You it was a passion project in the beginning. I was someone who was I accidentally, ladies and gentlemen, got into the performing arts at a very young age. And I was very fortunate to work with some incredible people along the way, people like Celine Dion, various celebrities in my career that I've been able to create and work with in some outstanding projects. But when I got to a place in my life, I realized that the type of vision that I had for myself, there was something that was paralyzing me from actually obtaining the things that I actually really wanted. And a guy like myself, my voice, what I had to offer, I knew that I could empower or help people do things or encourage them to get the success that they actually wanted. But my belief system was not intact. And so today's conversation really comes back down to what is the relationship that you have with yourself when it comes to your business. As Damien was mentioning in the beginning of this actual conversation, is you're always getting ready to get ready. What is stopping you from actually getting uncomfortable and starting the journey as to where you want to be? So the book, Don't Let Fear Paralyze You, or the journey really started from after doing and being a part of these incredible projects. I had to take time to really assess and go, what do I want to do for the rest of my life? And I had to have that transparent conversation with myself and be real about the things that I really wanted to achieve. I don't know if you guys do know this gentleman, Bob Proctor. I'm sure some of you on this call know who he is. If you guys know who Bob Proctor is, please put it in the chat box. But Bob Proctor, when I actually went through to one of his conferences and seminar, he actually spoke about something that actually really shifted my mind. And he's actually in a picture If you look over here, he's right over here. He's holding his book, You Were Born to Be Rich, and I was holding Don't Let Fear Paralyze You. We attended the event together, and it was incredible because he was talking about something that, again, that really changed my mind. He talked about a fantasy goal. He talked about there's an ABC goal. And I'm not going to go through all of the actual goals and how he describes it, but the C goal was the one that actually really got my attention. And it was the fantasy goal that he talks about a lot. It's the goal that makes you uncomfortable. It's the goal that makes you feel like, if I can achieve this goal, my life would be complete. If I can get the thing in this fantasy goal, my life will feel complete. So when he started talking about the fantasy goal, when he started talking about getting uncomfortable, when he started talking about not really understanding the how and going after it and taking quantum leaps that he talks about quite a bit and figuring it out along the way, it was quite impressive. And so when I started to think about my fantasy goal, I didn't think that I could actually achieve it. I didn't think that I could achieve the type of the success or the type of or the revenue or the type of teams that I have today. And so where are you when it comes to your fantasy goal? Okay, if you were to think about a C goal right now with where you are in your business, whether you're just starting out or whether you're a successful entrepreneur, where do you see yourself when it comes to this fantasy goal? Where are you? Right? Because when we think about that, there's this, all of a sudden, most of us get into this place where we become complacent and say to ourselves, well, that's just kind of it's really out there. If I can just do X, Y, and Z, I'll be content. But what about the thing that we actually really want? And that's what I talk about every single day. And that's what I help people do every single day, is to focus on the fantasy goal. Bob Proctor was the actual catalyst as to why I'm doing what I'm doing today. So I want to talk a little bit about, we're going to jump right into the whole idea of wellness, okay? Because here's the deal. When I was on tour and I started to go on tour, when I was talking about my book, Don't Let Fear Paralyze You, I started to understand there was a commonality of pain with women and men, right? Most of us are not taught about wellness. What does that actually mean to you? What does wellness actually mean? Because the majority of people that I speak to, okay, that are actually doing very, very well, fundamentally, there's still things that are missing, and they're not feeling happy about their existence. It's incredible with some of the things that come out of people's mouth. When I look at them from an illusion standpoint, if I just look at their life, and when we start to get down to the root of the issue, I'm shocked with what comes out of their mouth. So wellness is a key component. Right? I like to go a little bit around fear and not necessarily talk about it, because listen, you can go on the internet, you can, look at fear, you can and research it all you want. But the reality is that if you're not well along the journey, if you don't know how to focus on your own personal existence and happiness, you're always going to feel like there's something missing. Right? Nobody really gives us the tools, the strategies, how to optimize our health and wellness. So we need to start taking full responsibility for the results in our life, no matter what we're doing. So I want to share something with you that I think that's going to be very helpful. We're going to talk about the 8 pillars that I actually use with people in the company, that we use with individuals, and that we actually share with corporate businesses. We focus on the 8 areas of wellness. Okay, and these 8 areas, well, this encompasses physical, financial, occupational, the spiritual component, the emotional, social, intellectual, and environmental. So I want you guys to take a minute to write all of these down, because in each section, I'm going to be posing questions for you to really think about it, because this is about thinking. Most of us go along life just doing unconsciously, just getting things done, but don't actually take the time to really examine some of the areas that are lacking that can help us get the end result. Most of us are just focused on the bottom line of what we want in our company, what we want to achieve. Let's look at how much money we want to make. But how are you taking care of your employees? How are you taking care of yourself? How are you achieving the things that you really want to achieve? And these 8 areas of wellness have helped hundreds of people that we've worked with. So social wellness, okay? I want to just quickly go through this and looking about how we are developing healthy relationships. This is beautiful. This particular Go Mobile community Damien, obviously being an incredible leader, having somebody that is there to support your vision of what you want is what most of us need. But let's be really clear about the fact that there's still people probably in your life that no longer serve or vibrate on the same frequency of where you are. And if we look at it from a scientific level, the fact is that either you're low vibing or you're vibing on a frequency that will take you to where you really want to be. And who are those people that you're associating yourself with? Right? So I want you to make a column beside your social wellness or write a note and to really write down the toxic people in your life currently. Who are the people in your business, the people around you that no longer serve? And do you have the courage to step away from them and say, I'm done, to do exactly what you're meant to do? In the next section, I want you to focus on the positive people in your life. Who are the positive people that actually give you the fuel and ammunition to where you want to be in your life? This is key, right? We need community. We know this stuff. This is just a reminder, you guys, about where one needs to place themselves when it comes down to their own environment and taking responsibility for that environment. Okay, so I hope you guys wrote that down. Occupational wellness. So are you in a space right now where you're inundated with your work and have no time to enjoy life? Right? I like to have fun. I make sure that I have fun in my work. Are you taking the time, and I'm speaking to everybody here because self-care, okay, ladies and gentlemen, is underrated. And we need to learn the simplest things and how to really start taking care of ourselves. Listen, there are the smallest things. COVID for me was an incredible training ground because it taught me in the simplest way of how to take care of Michael Challenger. Nobody needs to know that stuff, but I figured out and took the time to understand the small things that actually help me at the next stage so that I can optimize and do the things to my fullest potential, because that's all I want to do, right? I'm not interested in mediocrity, and I think it's important for you. It's like, where's your push? What are you doing for your business? How are you stepping out of the fear or the doubt in your mind for the type of goals that you want to achieve? So we need to start to create more balance when it comes to the occupational wellness. Okay, so the question for occupational wellness is, if you can do anything when it comes to your business, what would that be? What would it be? Would you expand? Would you make it so that it's online and so that you can become mobile and travel the world and just use your laptop to communicate to people? What's the thing? What is it? It could be small, it could be big, but what's the shift in your mind? I'm here to potentially help you shift in the way that you think about your own business, about what you're doing. That's what this is about today. And if you can't do that, what's stopping you? What is stopping you from achieving the goals that you want? We go deep here. That's what this is about. Okay? Like, this is not about, because business is business and everybody knows that they have a responsibility at the end of the day. But if we can't look at ourselves in the mirror and have a truthful conversation, you're never going to get those results. Physical wellness. Okay? This is another part that is incredibly important, that I constantly learn with my physical trainer, with my nutritionist. Eat well, feel well, and live well. Are you taking the time to fuel your body so that you can get the best results and feel good about the work that you're doing every single day? How are you fueling your body? What's the relationship that you have? You know, I said that to a gentleman the other day. I said, what's the relationship that you have with your body? He's like, what the heck are you talking about? What do you mean, a relationship? I don't understand what that means. I was like, well, what are you putting into your temple? What are you actually putting into your body so that it actually, instead of looking at food as a way of going, okay, tastes good, it has 0 calories and it's getting me through the day, what can you actually put into your body that gives you the energy so that you can get better results, so that you can be more productive, so that your mind can fire better ideas and get better results, right? I like to talk about this is exactly what I had to do, ladies and gentlemen, in order for me to get to a place where I had to look at myself and go, okay, if this is the fear, like I've been able to really understand what fear was. Now I have to take the next steps in order for me to really get the things that I want in life. So I need to look at these 8 pillars, and we designed these pillars because it really is something that just awakens so many people. It's unbelievable, where they don't understand where they're lacking. Okay, so how is your nutrition? Can you improve on your nutrition? How many cups of coffee do you need to stay awake during the day? Right? This is a true story, right? And when I hear 12, 14 cups a day, I'm like, okay, so do you suffer with sleep apnea? Like, what's going on? Are you actually, right? Where it's like, I'm not getting enough sleep and I feel overwhelmed and I'm not, but you're drinking 14 cups a day. Like, let's have a real...
Michael, let's have a real conversation. If I drank 12 to 14 cups of coffee a day, my wife would divorce me in a heartbeat.
Right? I mean, but naturally, you're a high energy, you're a high viber, right, Damien? I'm a high viber. I can't drink coffee. I can't, because if I did, it would be crazy. Okay. But for those who, that need 12 or 12 to 13 cups a day, it's a serious thing to look at if you're not getting the results that you want, or if you're feeling like crap every single day and just getting the gig done. Right? So what are you doing? Are you drinking enough water? Are you? Something to think about. Intellectual wellness, okay? This is the part that I love, why I love this, what Damien is doing when it comes down to actually being able to just expand your mind, expand your knowledge to live better. So I myself, what I needed to do, I'm just using my life as an example. I was I love to read. I love to keep, learning different authors and whatnot. But, I'm pretty busy. I got a lot of stuff going on. So does most of us. And so I joined a book club that starts at 5:30 in the morning, and we read incredible books. And so I'm there with a group of people. I get support from the group. We have conversations at the end of the call to help keep our mind stimulated, and then we start our days. So I needed to do something a bit more creative in order for me to really kind of stimulate my mind intellectually. But what are you doing intellectually when it comes down to your life, to your business, to your existence? This is all to support your happiness. This is not about, right? I'm not a school teacher telling you, come on guys, keep reading. It's what are the books that you can find that support your life and that help you live a better life, right? So what are you doing when it comes down? When's the last time you read a book? And what was it? And not a book that you've been reading for the last 6 months. Right? I need to finish this book. Right? If you can't finish the book, then you need to change the book and find something that actually can keep your interest, right? Your financial wellness, and this is actually key to this is the most important one, and I think it comes up everywhere. But the financial wellness part of it, ladies and gentlemen, it comes back down to the relationship that you have with the money. It comes back down to energy is money. Whether you have, millions of dollars of your account or you're in the negative, what is your relationship with your money, and how is it affecting you from getting the results that you want? Because normally, and people that I work with and that I speak to, when it comes down to financial wellness, of course, everybody needs it. Of course, we need to work towards it. But it should not be the driving force to how you live your life. It's a part of it, but it should not be the driving force. So if something's happening and you feel like I'm screwed right now with my finances, how can you keep training the mind, which comes back to intellectual wellness, to keep moving in a direction that will eventually give you the financial wellness that you seek?
I got a lot. Do you know Alana Pratt?
Do I know Alana Pratt?
Uh-huh.
I don't know her.
She teaches about the relationship with money. She was one of our guests. And yeah, it was, the relationship with money is such an important thing, because when you're as a digital marketing agency, which everybody on here identifies with, when you don't have a healthy relationship with money, whether you're stressed about money or don't have a healthy relationship with money, you're behind on a bunch of stuff, it really comes out in your presentation. So something we've spent a lot of time talking about is, develop a healthy relationship with money. I think that's so important.
Well, and it's also
spending habits is definitely a part of that.
Yeah, Damien, I love that you said that. And so the question for this particular section is how did you grow up viewing money? Right? I was taught to live in scarcity. Right? That was actually the mindset that was taught in my end. I was taught to be frugal with my money. I was taught to be stuck in the fear. Right? The fear was passed along to me from my parents because that's how they were raised. So the reality is that, are you ready to step outside of the idea of living in a scarcity mindset and changing your relationship with money, knowing that money is there to support you, not to hurt you? Right? Most people have this idea of, I need to, staying safe as an entrepreneur, ladies and gentlemen, gets you nowhere. Right? You have to be able to take risks to a certain degree. And that's the only way that I was able to achieve the things that I have in my own personal business, is the risk that I have taken. And if I stayed in the scarcity of mindset with my finances, I wouldn't be here today. Right? So what's your current, how do you view it? How do you currently view it? And how would you like to view it? Right? Would you like to just so that you're not affected by the money anymore? How would you like to actually view the money? How would you like to change the relationship with money? Are you afraid to ask for money when it's time to ask for your client when you're closing the deal? What's your self-worth like when you're asking for the deal? Right? Because that's what comes up. And if you don't have a good relationship with money, then you don't feel like you deserve the money. And the exchange never actually takes place because you don't feel like you deserve it. So this goes down, it goes way deeper than what just financial wellness looks like. It always comes back down to the relationship itself. Okay? Spiritual wellness. I love this section because this is one of the sections that has helped, that's really changed the trajectory of my life. And it's connecting with yourself on a deeper level. So the idea of spiritual wellness, when you actually have a belief system of faith, whatever the faith, and I'm not talking about something outside yourself. I'm talking about the belief system within yourself. The belief system within yourself to be able to get the results that you want in your business. This comes back down to business. There's a direct correlation on who you're attracting into your business, your ideal clients. Right? So the spiritual and the emotional are the two things that I like to look at because it's interconnected. Because emotionally, whether man or woman, if we don't necessarily get the results, we start to feel guilty, we start to feel shame, we start to back up, and then we get paralyzed. And we get paralyzed in the fear because we don't know how to manage the emotional and the spiritual components of our life. So people who are like, spiritual, I don't even know what it is. No. You get the clearest answers when you start to do this spiritual work. You get the clearest answers when you stop and you listen. When you take the time to meditate and go sit on a rock near the water, or just to be in a space where nobody's distracting you, and to really pay attention to what comes up in your own life and move towards in that direction. And this is one of the reasons why I love it so much, because that's what saved me. Everything that I wanted, when I started to slow down and listen to the things that I really wanted, it started to manifest. And so this whole idea of law of attraction, and people are like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Listen, it's real when you do the work. It's real when you actually understand the power of your mind. The mental faculties of the mind is a thing. And if you can understand that your imagination, one of the most powerful parts of the mental faculties of the brain, when you know how to use it correctly, it's amazing what can manifest. I'm sitting right now actually in a space of incredible entrepreneur. I'm sitting in her place right now. I'm in her office right now. She's on the second floor. That's a beautiful view of the water. And we're here. We just finished actually having dinner here, talking about how she was able to manifest her business, her space, her mission, her people, by trusting her life, by stepping outside of the people socially who didn't support her, by taking responsibility for every single thing in her life, stepping in the wellness that I'm talking about in order for her to get the results. This is a real thing, okay? So what can you do right now when it comes down to like the spiritual and emotional wellness? I want you guys to just try operating from a place of gratitude, right? And writing down what you're grateful for right now. What are you grateful for? That you can just start with that energy, like changing the frequency versus operating from a place of lack. Because the place of lack is what stops us on, you know what, I want this, but look at this person down the street who has this, look at this company, my businesses are doing well. How can we sit back and just look at the things? What have you achieved in the last 6 months? What have you achieved in the last year? What did you achieve in COVID that you can actually celebrate and be proud of? Right? Coming back down to the simple things.
It's this session right here. I get to celebrate and be proud of the Happy Hour Hangouts and having folks like you on. So I just wanted to interject there because it's true. When I look back, that's the one major thing that I did to change.
Right, and that's your way of giving back. That's your way of being part of the community, and it's an incredible thing to be proud of because it's coming from your life. And the only way that you could have done it was coming from your imagination and taking responsibility of making it manifest and happen. Right? But it's that simple, right? You made a decision. You took a decision and you said, I'm going to make this happen, and it's happened. But for whatever reason, that's stopping us, are you looking at something there, David?
I was looking at the chat. I see Maya saying she's talking here. So I got the chat on my left. So
okay, good. No, good. But one of the biggest things that we do is that we forget about all the different things that we achieve along the way, and we stay in a place of lack, and we stay in a place where we're never happy. It's never enough. And so I try to get people to understand, do you realize what you just did? Do you realize what you've been able to do in this last, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 months? Like, take the time to slow down and go back and just celebrate yourself a little bit more and stop being so hard on yourself. Because we don't give ourselves enough credit. It's always like, I need more. Listen, it takes time. We all know it, but really we get impatient and we forget. So just really, this exercise is really about what are you grateful for and how can you actually celebrate spiritual and emotional wellness. And the last thing that I want to talk about is your environment. The environmental wellness, which is key, right? Becoming aware of how your decisions affect the environment around you. So the environment, I'm talking about your personal environment. What's your space? I love this because in COVID, I spoke about this a lot when people are living at home now. People are operating and working from home. What is your personal space like? Is it a disaster? Is it a catastrophe? Like, how is your personal space? Because the clutter doesn't support what you're trying to achieve.
Right.
And it starts from your personal environment, which then leads into the actual planet, right? Everything is connected, but we have to start with self. So are you living in a place where you can actually take responsibility of getting up and making sure that everything is in the way that you want it to be and not being like, I'll get to it next week. I'm just tired. Listen, if you're too tired to take care of your personal space, how are you going to take care of people? How are you going to take care of your business? How are you going to take care of the dream that you want? And yes, you may have housekeepers on here, and that's good. But at the end of the day, it's even deeper than that. It's still about your own personal space. How do you keep things in order so that you can actually go back to it, reflect, look at it, and be clear about your execution?
Your housekeeper cleans the mess, does not organize your clutter. I mean, they don't know how to organize your clutter. Like, how do they know you want to throw this away or put this in a box? And so I think that's very good advice because maybe you start in your office and then you work your bedroom and then you work your kitchen and then you work your whole house. Get your environment uncluttered. I have taken this advice and I can actually use another session. It's time.
Yeah, great. And knowing, and I love it because again, they cannot organize your clutter. I love it, Damien. So really at the end of the day, you can't direct your housekeeper to do anything if you don't know what you want, and you can't rely on this other person to take care of your personal space. So it's getting yourself in check so that you can have It always comes back down to your business, right? You got to operate and have that same type of focus when getting the results that you want. So I wanted you to stop there when it came to that. So it's about be well and breathe. I'm just going to put this, we're going to keep talking, but I just want people to take this down now. If you guys want to email me, or if you want to go to my website, okay, you can go to michael@optimallivingsummit.com. That is my contact information. And the website there is michaelchallenger.com. Okay. There's something on my website that it's called the Mini Success Workbook. It's 3 pages to get you in the right mindset. Okay. If you guys are interested, you can download that, and it will help you out so that you can move in the direction that you see. But that's the ending of the wellness portion. But we're going to come back now. We're going to move. I'm going to stop sharing here. Okay. And I want to open up the actual room for some just some Q&A, and then we're going to move on to another section.
Nice. And Maya, thank you. Very nice compliment. The whole team thanks you.
Oh, I can't see. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Maya. So any questions? I love it. You guys, if you feel like
questions, what do we have? Questions on the wellness section. I love the 8 pillars. I wrote down the 8 pillars, and I think areas that I can work on personally is the social part, right? Develop better relationships and identify the toxic relationships that we need to, what we call sácalo. Get them out of here.
Sácalo.
Yeah, right. And the intellectual, I'm constantly expanding my knowledge, constantly. You asked about the books that you read and which ones are you taking 6 months to read. I want to let everybody know that I let myself off the hook on reading books now, to where you don't have to read a book cover to cover. Just look at the table of contents, look at the chapters, read what's right for you. You know what I mean? And you can read multiple books at once. Like I was always hell-bent on the whole thing, Michael, that I can't pick up another book until I finish this one. And this one might sit on the stand for like 6 months, like you say. I choose Audible. I just listen to Audible while I'm doing other things. Expand 100%. Your knowledge. These are 2 areas, social and the intellectual, I think, for me. Social I need to work on. Intellectual, I can say I work on heavily.
That's beautiful. And you know what? I can talk about even in my own journey, during COVID, for me, it was the physical wellness. One of the biggest things, I gained about 10 to 15 pounds during COVID. I was like, oh no, this is not happening. And so now I'm, just in control of it. And of course, we know the benefits of when we're physically active, the type of endorphins, what for your body, how it changes, how you feel, just taking responsibility in that way is incredible. And of course, going back to the business, I just feel that much better and stronger.
Yeah, now on the physical part, I want to touch on that, and I want to give everybody a little bit of a hint of what's going on with me. I mean, I've been working out pretty much almost daily since Pop Warner football. Like I've been working out forever. And, obviously not every single day of my life, but I mean, I literally have a weekly regimen of working out until COVID hit. And now that all of the gyms have closed, I have gone deeper in meditation and mindful practices. I've gone deeper in that. But here's what I'm realizing now, Michael, and everybody else on here. I'm 48 years old, and this is the first year that I've gone without doing any weight training at all. And now I'm starting to feel it in a negative way. I'm starting to get major carpal tunnel issues with typing. I'm starting to hurt when I get done riding horses. My back, I walk like I'm a cripple for a week. I was golfing the other day, and my forearms are blowing up with madness because of the carpal tunnel, maybe on both sides. And it was such pain every time I swung. Now understand this, I've never felt this shit before.
Yeah, no,
the only thing that I can attribute to all this new breakdown in my body feeling is 1 year of not doing physical weight training. Seriously. So I will also put an emphasis on the physical, because I'm now feeling the downside of ignoring that part.
Listen, that's exactly what when yoga and being in the gym was taken away from me. I'm not the type of person, Damien, to actually hang out in my place and work out. Like I'm not motivated at home. Okay. So it was really hard to stay motivated, which is why, I mean, I did some stuff, but I had to become creative and go outside and like lift logs. And you literally, like I was in the middle of Mother Nature with a boot camp, just doing creative stuff so that I can actually stay in shape. But it's difficult. So absolutely, like if you don't upkeep and stay in rhythm with your body, it's like things start to break down. And, you know, I'm in my 40s as well, and things start to show up. So yeah, physical wellness is huge. It's huge. Anybody else? Who else with some of the 8 pillars? There we go, Joe. Tell us a little bit about what you discovered or that you need to work on when it comes to your wellness.
Well, I think, you know, you definitely identify all the different areas that one can focus on. So I know I understand that relationship with money. I know that has been a challenge for me. But even right now, where I do have a budget to be able to spend I'm making some purchases, media buys. This is the first time that I do this, and for me to make a $7,000-$10,000 buy, I'm still hesitant to do that because that was not something that I did before. So this is standard. I mean, that's not a big buy considering from, you know, depending on, you know, where you're buying from, but still, have to coach myself that it is okay. You need to make that, but I get anxious about that. So that's one. The second thing is that I feel like I know all the things that I need to do. Like right now, I have a lot of things that I need to complete to get my projects completed, to be able to grow the business. And sometimes it's even hard just knowing where do you start, because they are all as important. I mean, right now I have due dates for media buys. I have, you know, radio scripts that I'm working on that are waiting. I mean, and, you know, organizing a press conference. So it's like, you know, and even with, you know, just, this is my time out right now, just listening to Damon. So like, where do I start? And sometimes I get paralyzed. I don't know what to do. I know what to do, but I know which do we start, and I know how to do it, but it's just getting started.
100%.
So what is your, I mean, that's why I was very interested in listening to this, because I don't want to feel this way, because then it makes me feel unproductive. It makes me feel that I'm not moving forward. I'm completing the items, but I'm not getting the fulfillment from completing those items once they are completed. It's like, oh shoot, you took too long in developing that. That should have been done before. So how can, you know, your program help in this case?
So here's the deal, Joe. So that is actually there's 2 things that people usually tell me when it comes down to the business and when it comes to transformation, because at the end of the day, you want to be able to transform your behavior so that you can get the results. So the first one is really, Michael, I don't even know who I am anymore. I feel like I'm just lost and I don't know what direction to go in. And the second one is that I'm inundated with my work. I don't know where to start. So Joe, for you, my advice to you would be, in terms of, you seem like you're a man who has obviously a lot on the go, but when we're looking at time management and we're looking at structure, who is supporting you when it comes down to your time management and structure? What are you doing in terms of, I'm sure you have an agenda, I'm sure you look at your calendar, go, I got to get this and get this done. But when we talk about prioritizing the things that need to be done immediately, who's supporting you with that? Right? I have an organizational manager. My organizational manager keeps me in check of, here's what needs to be done, Michael. Here's what we need to do now, because like our due date is on such a date, right? I have somebody there making sure that we get things done in a specific way, right? If you are by yourself and you're trying to figure out, you know, creative ways, you need to learn how to map it out from a time management perspective. It is huge.
Yeah, and that's exactly one of the things that I'm looking into in terms of, I even invested in you know, through my computer in this project management, you know, program that can give me at, you know, once I enter all the information, gives me at a glance that my deadlines, because I guess being afraid of missing the deadlines is another, you know, it just creates additional anxiety on my end. So I know that I have to take the time to learn this new program that eventually will get me more on structure, because it's me, myself, and I right now.
And that's exactly it, Joe. And the fact is that that project management program is your gold. It is your gold. You need to take the time and say, okay, Joe, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm doing nothing else but learning how to master this program. Because the moment you actually start to really focus on this program and put the attention on this program, it will make your life that much better. So stop procrastinating with this program. Here's my advice, right? You've invested in this thus far, and you know what you need to do. Learn the program.
Okay.
And I don't know how difficult this program is. I mean, it doesn't sound like it's too tedious, right? It's about implementing, putting it in so that you can structure it, and it gives you the end result as to when you need to finish some of these projects, correct?
Correct. I think it's just getting all the elements and with learning the capabilities in itself on how to best utilize it and tailor it to what you need. I started, I just bought it a couple of days ago, and I thought, okay, from the videos, it seemed like it was very easy to do, but once I dove into it, I'm like, oh, this requires more time, and by that time, I already needed to complete something else. So, and I know it's going to be very tight for the next week for me, but I know it loosens up in 1 week, and I'll have more time to do so. But in the meantime, I still have all these projects and things that I need to be taken care of, and I'm going to with your traditional pen and paper and Post-it notes that I have here in front of me to make sure I don't miss those. But even though after a while of seeing so many different post notes, you're like, okay, which one is the
yeah, it's too much. And I know, and it's like the post notes actually looks kind of fancy and kind of cool. You're like, well, this is what's going on in my mind, and I kind of, you look like you're in charge of it all, but then it becomes too much, and it's like, where do you start? So in terms of like just your order sequence, because I too, listen, every entrepreneur understands, and every entrepreneur can have a conversation where you're like, oh my God, there's so much going on. I don't have enough time in the day. We all know what that feels like. But the reality is that getting organized, coming back down to your occupational wellness, you have to know how to take care of yourself so that you can have a more balanced life. Because when you are so focused on work, like you can't focus on anything else. You have nothing else. You can't enjoy life. That's not the whole wellness component. What we're talking about today is how can you be successful and enjoy your life, right? Finding it, right? So it is about, and coming back down to your finances, when you're talking about making those decisions financially, here's the thing, right? Everybody knows you got to spend money to make money. So really, it's really about what's your investment look like? What is going to be the end result if you're going to be spending $7,000 to $10,000, which is something that, again, we all know. Programs, you gotta invest in order for you to get those results. And at a certain point, everybody has to swallow it. Everybody just has to accept the fact that it's like, this is what I got to do to expand. Because when you're in the mind frame of expansion, you make those sacrifices and you accept it. Right? That's the mindset of expansion. It's not, right, when you operate from scarcity, those numbers become scary because you're like, I'm spending the money, what's going to happen? And then you operate from fear and then you want to stop. Right? But when you allow yourself to actually understand this is the next step for the type of success that I really want, it's an amazing feeling. And when you actually get the results from taking the risk and trusting yourself, it's an amazing feeling.
Thank you.
Little talk on with Maya, Susan, and Patty here regarding the one thing, really trying to calm the mind and focus on one thing and how powerful that is for your focus. And I have to agree with that, Michael. I'm sure you do too.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, right, in terms of prioritizing, right, you have to know, and that's the thing. It's calming down, looking at, using Joe as the example with his program. It's slowing down and mastering this program so that it can make his life easier at the end of the day. Right, that's the first thing, right? So everything else, of course, is going to be there. Everything else is going to it's going to look noisy. It's going to feel like it's messy, but the organization of your business will lead to the type of success that you really want at the end of the day.
Good stuff.
Right. So, thank you, Joe. Thank you for expressing that. Anybody else? What areas of wellness do you need to work on?
I'd say one of them. Every single one.
That's great, Maya. Well, tell me at least 3 in detail of it. What are the top 3 that you have to work on?
Let's put it this way. When I'm up at 2 a.m., it's not because I drank coffee. I don't drink coffee and tea. It's because, let me see. I need to pay my bills. I need to lose some weight. I need to get in better shape. I need to, the whole cutting people out of my life that are even the toxic ones. I kind of hold on to them because they're my comfort zone. It's really silly, but I hold on to the people that I hang around and bitch with, which is really useless, counterproductive, unproductive.
Yeah. So let's talk about your social wellness, because I think
Ontario housewives, huh?
Yeah.
Housewives, what are those? I need one. Water. Oh my gosh. There's a reason you're seeing my avatar rather than me.
Well, here's the thing, that when it comes back down to holding on to your comfort zone is, again, this is why we're having this conversation, is about having a transparent conversation with Maya and being able to know that what does Maya actually really want in life when it comes to her business? Are you ready to really step outside of this idea of comfort and really accepting and understanding the steps? Because if you're waking up at 2 a.m. in the morning, listen, I don't wake up at 2 a.m. in the morning. I don't do that.
Oh, I'm normally an early waker. I wake up at 4, but yeah, the 2 a.m.s are the bad ones.
and okay, and is there a reason, Maya, why it's 2 a.m.? Is it just because do you start the day with 2 a.m. or is you're awake and you can't sleep?
It's probably a combination of sleep apnea and anxiety, actually. It doesn't happen if I work out. I know that. I've proven it 100,000 times, and
So here's the deal, okay? And so we are going to go just a little bit deep here. Again, this comes back down to relationship with self and your self-worth. When one can't actually, we know that if you're going to hold on to toxicity, if you know the results of some of the things when it comes to your physical wellness, you know how you feel, there's something where now, again, to better your life, how can you start in terms of self-development? This is where I would start. I would start to go start working with a coach, start working with somebody who's going to be able to encourage you to actually be in the space that you want to be. Because if you're just doing the do, and you're like, okay, well, Michael, look, I know physical wellness. I know I suck at that. I suck at this. I suck at this. I suck at this. So now who is your support system? Who is actually helping Maya get the results that Maya wants versus Maya waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning just feeling stressed out and anxious about what she's not getting?
Right. Yeah, no one. Yep.
No one, right? So it's time to invest in yourself. It's time to invest in self-development. And I'm talking like literally life coach. I'm talking literally like somebody who's going to cheerlead who Maya is, what Maya does, how Maya operates in her daily. You need accountability.
My business partner tries, but we're also, it's the flip side of the accountability, right? Where you say, you wouldn't say this to your best friend. Why would you say it to yourself? Well, my best friend doesn't say it to me either. And I need to hear it sometimes.
100%. So what action from this call can we take moving forward? Can you actually anticipate or you even start take the first step to finding a coach to help you advance?
Yes. Now, the question I immediately, it's a cycle, I swear. I immediately ask, where am I going to get the money for the coach? I guess I can barter services, give them marketing instead of.
Yeah, and that's where we come into the idea of, yes, the imagination. How can we be more creative so that we can still get the results, right?
Not how can I, not I can't.
Exactly, because again, that's the place of coming back down from gratitude, right? We're coming back to the spiritual emotional wellness, right? I'm asking you to dig deeper in the areas of your life where you can actually go, I'm grateful for what? So Maya is grateful for marketing services that she can offer for free. And in exchange, she can get coaching from somebody because she will help support their business. That's how we overcome this, right? We overcome it by coming up with innovative solutions that we already possess within, because you have skills to offer.
Absolutely.
Right. And so being able to use some of your skills to get what you need in the end so that you too can advance, then it becomes a win-win situation.
Right. In fact, hey, I'm going to leverage something Damien's given me, an app.
Well, there you go. But there you go, right? And then it starts from there. It's learning. It's like, right, the relationships that have already been created, but you can't constantly be the person helping other people to be successful and you just watching them grow and you at a standstill.
Yeah.
Right? It needs to change. So on this call, please, whatever it is, just contact me, Maya. I will direct you so that you can get associated with somebody to help you move forward. Right, but this idea of I'm just every single part of my wellness sucks. It's time for you to be a little bit stricter with yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, and not allow. You're very welcome.
Yeah, that's exactly what I see myself right now is that I have a partner and that person is constantly getting into project which I'm supporting, but I see that those projects are getting complete and I see that growth in that and I am part of it, but that's not my project. But I'm still being supported. I feel like, wait a minute, when am I starting my own project so that, I can take the lead on things. And because at the end, I complete, the work and we complete the project, but in a sense, the glory and recognition is not necessarily, for me, but I was part of that team. But I'm trying to turn those things around. I think that's where I'm right now. I'm caught because I do need that experience to be able to do that on my own. So that's one of the ways that I'm like, okay, well, I'm getting that experience so that eventually I'll branch off and not be relying on that other individual. So that's my end reasoning to be able to when I get those thoughts. But yes, I definitely do see others. Let's say, I would say flourishing and so forth, and where I feel like, okay, I should be at that level already.
Yeah, well, you should be at that level, but here's the thing is that when we put ourselves second to everything else around us, when we don't actually validate or take the time to really look at ourselves as to really questioning what is it that I want, how can I achieve this? When we keep putting that aside, we will always be stuck and be paralyzed in the fear because you're never going to get outside. Listen, I'm telling you from my own experience, it's always like, one day, and the more you wait, the worse it becomes. Right? So, yeah.
Sorry, I'm just sorry to interrupt. I was just from what Joe said, I'm wondering, Joe, are you giving yourself enough credit for what you are achieving? Because I think that's the other thing. Maybe you're not just pausing to acknowledge that.
That is correct, and I do see that, and it just happened yesterday. I was sharing with somebody else that one of my neighbors what I was working on, and he's like, "Wow, it seemed like you are a professional at that," and it's funny because when he said that, and I know Damien had talked about it with one of our other sessions, that if you are continuously doing something repeatedly over and over, you do become a pro at that. But I wasn't seeing that, and I thought, wow, you're right. You're right. I wasn't giving myself that recognition, and that's definitely something that I'm working towards on a consistent basis. When I complete projects, you complete it, check off your list, pat on the back, because it's, like I said, me, myself, and I in developing this business.
Yeah. Say that again.
Easy G, me, myself, and I, huh?
Yeah. I mean, and that is not, of course, it requires a lot of responsibility, and you get caught up in the mix, and you don't have time to really, sit down and celebrate, all those achievements. But again, for you specifically, Joe, it has to come back down to this organization and how you take care of yourself. That is associated with that celebrating yourself, and this is to kind of even piggyback what Maya's saying, by being more organized for yourself. It's actually a way to celebrate, because you will, if you can be structured in a way to create more time in other areas of your life, you'll be way more happier with, that's your version of celebration, of being on top of your business and having time for Joe.
Yes, I know, because one of the first changes was your physical wellness. you're right. Just like you said, during COVID, certain things happened. And then I thought, okay, so I took that on, checked that off my list. The financial wellness, checked that off my list. The intellectual, definitely growing, doing other things that are part of it, you know. And I think that it's the spiritual the same. And I'm at the emotional and social, wellness, which are the ones, and these emotional, and based on our last week's speaker, she said something very very important, that that part could be part of that challenge is what we emotionally associate, what that reason is. There's a reason why you're not moving forward on certain things, but we kind of skip that emotional because it might be more deeper than what we think it is, and identify. So I'm working on identifying those specific things that will allow me to move forward on certain things, whether it's completing a task, whether it's staying on task, or whether it's starting a project that I know that needs to be developed because others are pending on that. And if I slow up that process or bottleneck it, I know I'm going to be stressed out because of that. So definitely I associate that with the emotional and social there, because I'm checking off the other ones and I see the progress, but I'm not now narrowing down to those two right there.
Well, Joe, and here's the thing. It's like, congratulations on that, because the fact is now consciously you can identify where the areas of you are potentially slowing you down from the type of success that you want, right? Warren Buffett said it the best, and I love it. When I saw an interview, the man said, he's like, the reason why the majority of people on this planet will not achieve the success that they seek or want is because they're too emotional, right? And when I heard that, I went, right. This man is in a risky business. And when he makes a decision, he has to be and he has a whole world against him. He sticks with his vision. He stays clear to what he actually wants, and he gets the results in the end. So, so really it comes back down to getting in control. Every one of us, right? Every female, every male in this call, we got to get in control of our emotional wellness and not get sidetracked and get, disarrayed by something it's not working, or if a mistake that happened. It's really staying that focused on what is it that we want to achieve. It's huge. It's really, really huge.
Absolutely.
So Mr. Damien.
Yes, sir.
So it's 8:05. So Michael Challenger has a couple of other responsibilities to attend to. So I just wanted to check in with you and see how we're doing with time.
We're doing great. You opened it up for those questions, and thanks to Joe and Maya and Patty and everybody that's engaging here. That's awesome. And like Maya said, that really contributed to this content share. So thank you, Joe, really, for that. That was really, really solid, as always. So I've got a couple things, if I can. I want you to be able to I want to be respectful for your time. I do have a lightning round that I have to hit you with before you get to leave. That will benefit everybody. But if Absolutely. You have anything else that you wanted to cover, you can do it really quickly in a capsule. I'll hit you with the lightning challenge. You can say bye to everybody and we'll wrap up. So it's up to you if you have anything more.
Yeah, I just wanted to go through some really key points to just when it comes to just business. And for people like Joe, I don't really know anybody else on the call, and I'm sure Maya has a business partner or whatnot, but when it comes down to your business, I just want to talk about 5 points that I want you to write down when it comes to really just booking, getting the client to sign the contract, right? Closing the deal. I really want to just talk about those 5 points. So the first thing that I want to just really talk about is, and maybe you guys have spoken about this in the past, but I'm going to repeat it because this is some of the things that has helped me really melt away the fear, is knowing your ideal client. Knowing your ideal client is the first thing. And in that, if you were to, and who is your ideal client? What does that actually mean? And the way that I love to explain it when I break it down is, who do you want to hang out with you in the room when it comes down to doing business? Who would you want to hang out with on a Saturday night to have coffee with and do business with? That's your ideal client, right? Right? So really think about that, because at the end of the day, we kind of just we think, I got to go after everybody, or this is my demographic. This is what I have to do with the pain points. This is what I have to There's all this stuff that we know that we actually, we intellectually know. But at the end of the day, it's by going by, who do you want to hang out with? And so that you guys have a relationship, which goes back to the next one. Number 2 is listen and learn, right? You got to get to know what their struggle is. Like, so again, forget about like you guys, we got to get a little bit more, instead of being so technical, specifically with the Go Mobile, you got to like, it's like, understand their struggle. Where are they struggling in it, and how can you actually come up with the solutions? Because that's what you guys are about, is providing solutions, right? So go a little bit deeper and to really identify and be humanistic and not so technical or just business. Okay, let's bring in some compassion and connection when it comes down to your clients. Okay, the third thing I want to talk about is the vision. What do they want? Not what do you want for them, what do they want? Right? So when we look at what they want, then you can come back, and in the interim, then you'll understand what they want. You'll be able to motivate them and so give them the solutions to support where they're going. Right? So really understand their vision when it comes down to some of the things that they want to secure when it comes to their business. And the other point that I actually have written down for you guys here is, when it comes down to closing, I don't know how you guys are. If some of you guys maybe on the call are really good closers, but if you're not, and you're still struggling with that, get right into it and ask them, how would you like to get started?
That's very important.
How would you like to get started? Don't give them the options. Don't it's okay. You're going to get the pushback. Listen, I don't, financially, I can't do this right now. There's too much going on or whatnot. The reality is that they have a vision. You know that you have the solution. You want to get into there and you want to ask them how to get started. So really, again, it comes back down to your confidence. This whole thing to eliminate the fear is coming back down to understanding, researching your ideal client, being prepared in a way so that you can close a deal. And by then, you will get better at closing as time moves on.
How would you like to get started? I love that. That was like that's such a brilliant one. How would you like to get started? Because that opens it up. It opens up the conversation. Because the way they would not like to get started, they'll let you know, and you can work on that.
100%.
Really
right, but you're not. It's not this open. It's direct, so that they can actually now not go into the space where they want to escape from it, but go, okay, well, I do have maybe 3 credit cards, and I can probably put a little bit here. And do you have a payment plan? It just keeps you in the right mindset of what you want. How would you like to get started? So those are my tips today to help you guys overcome some of your fear when it comes up to businesses and your mindset when it comes around wellness. Okay, the combination goes hand in hand. The fear aspect and the wellness component. Things will start to, when you start to understand how to navigate around some of these 3 things, you'll see a definite improvement when it comes to your business.
All right, lightning round. Best advice you've ever received?
Best advice was
ever.
Never give up. Never give up.
That's why I don't warn you about these in advance, because
never. I think, you know what? It's that simple. But one of the a spiritual leader that I highly respect, never give up. Never.
Love it. Okay, now internet resource, tool, or app besides your own that our folks could benefit from.
Oh, that's a really good one. Since we're talking about wellness, I'm sure you guys have heard about it, but go visit Calm. CALM. Calm.
The Calm app, yep.
Go visit that. I think that there's something there that you guys can, for those of you who don't know about it, get into that. Right now, we're talking about the mind, so I think that would be helpful. Absolutely.
Okay. What book would you recommend to this group and why?
Don't Let Fear Paralyze You. And that's why. Right, there you go.
You got to go for another one. One that really inspired you and leveled you up in a big way over your years.
You know what? I think Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Okay.
Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill was a good one.
It really was, and it's one that I recommended to all of my children. And one thing I reflected on, Michael, that I'm super proud about. We have 7 children, 6 still living, and all 5 boys. Well, the oldest daughter is at MIT right now. She's on a full ride scholarship. She's going to be starting her 3rd year. So we hope she might be the next Elon Musk or Kathy Woods or whatever's going on there. But all 5 boys now are taking their hand in entrepreneurship, and it's Think and Grow Rich. It just really changes the mindset. People can go from video games to wanting to be an entrepreneur just by reading that book. So I thank you so much for that. All right, dude, listen, this has been incredible. Thank you so much for what you shared today. I can see in the chat, everybody loves it. So I knew they would. And by the way, you have an amazing smile. David says you have, and I have to agree, you got an amazing smile. Thank you so much for everything and for just wanting to come on and share. You're visiting a really good friend right now out there, and you wanted to come and share with our community, and we really, really, really appreciate it. Before we let you go, I want everybody to unmute, and we love to send our guests away with a very warm Go Mobile sign off. So please, everybody unmute now, and please give Michael some love.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Very much love to you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Michael. Awesome.
Good job, guys. Damien, also, thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Beautiful work.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Damien.
Great stuff.
Thanks so much, Michael. Thanks for all you do. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for giving back.
You guys are
Merci beaucoup. Au revoir.
You guys are awesome.
Michael, you can hang out and get a bunch more thank yous and loves. I mean,
Michael, do you have a website?
Yeah, so if you go to www.michaelchallenger.com, go there and you can see everything there. And like I said, if you guys want to download the Mini Success Workbook, it's a workbook that gets you in the right mindset. So check that out.
So beautiful. All right, Michael, thank you so much. Really appreciate it, man. Have a great time this weekend. And
thank you so much.
Look forward to connecting with you next week. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll definitely connect. You're very welcome, and everybody have a great night. Great evening.
Really appreciated this. Thank you. Everybody follow Michael Challenger. He's put his website there. You've got his book as well. So follow Michael as you got a little sample today that he's a man that understands wellness, and he's a man that understands fear and how not to let it paralyze you. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. I really appreciate all of you. I love all of you. Thank you, Patty. Really good to see you back here. So this is what we do every Friday, everybody. So please show up every Friday and get your dose of content that might just help set your mind on right. So, all right, everybody. Love you all. Happy weekend. Go out and have a good time with your family, and we'll see you next week.